Is the Democratic Party beyond redemption? Dr. Cornel West thinks it is. In this video, we're going to unpack an interview that Dr. Cornel West did with The Hills Rising, where he discussed the Democratic Party and the intentions of the Democratic Party and how it stacks up on issues of poor and working people. Before we get into that, my name is Tim Black, and if you are a supporter of Dr. Cornel West, or if you just want to track this campaign, follow this channel now. We cover it here, and you won't miss a beat. So Dr. West was on The Hills Rising yesterday with Brianna Joy Gray and Robbie Soav, when he asked some questions about what he thought about Bernie Sanders' pushback.
Let me ask you about Cornel West. He was a co-chair of your campaign in 2020. He's flirting with a Green Party bid for president.
I'm sorry, but I got to interrupt, guys. Chuck Todd's delivery here is so condescending. Did you hear what he just said?
Let me ask you about Cornel West. He was a co-chair of your campaign in 2020. He's flirting with a Green Party bid for president.
Chuck Todd said that Dr. West was flirting with the bid for the presidency when under the Green Party. Now, he's not flirting with it. He's running, Todd. He's actually running, Todd. How disrespectful does this guy have to be? Condescending, looking down his nose, talking to us as if we don't know any better. They love to say that America's so divided and blame it on Trump and blame it on Trumpers, but they forget themselves. Elitist nonsense right here. That's what this is. Disrespectful, devaluing of third parties of the right to run for office. Chuck Todd should be ashamed of himself. I'm sure he's not. I'm sure he's very proud of himself. I'm sure that Chuck Todd and all his limousine liberals, his porcelain progressive friends, get together and shame the poors. Who told this guy that he was a great reporter, a great journalist? He's just another one of those on the inside. Who watches Chuck Todd and why? Also want to point out that Bernie Sanders did the cough thing right here.
He's flirting with a Green Party, flirting with a Green Party bid for president.
I think Bernie Sanders is trying to signal to us that everything he's about to say, don't take it seriously. Don't believe any of it. I got to say it. I don't know why he has to say it, but he feels like he's got to say it. All right, let's keep going, Johnson. I'm going to try not to stop it, okay? Here we go.
Well, I've known Cornel for many, many years. He's a very independent-minded guy. He will do what he wants to do. I just think, again, I think Cornel or anybody else can play an important role now about raising issues that are not always discussed. But at the end of the day, I think the progressive community in general and the American people have got to make a decision as to whether we stand for democracy or authoritarianism, or whether or not we're going to represent working class families.
What's your reaction to what Senator Sanders says there?
Oh, no, I think that Brother Bernie's being consistent. You know, he said that all along, and I can understand the argument. I think it's a plausible argument. I just don't think it's a persuasive one. I think that the argument he's making means that there's never any possibility for breaking from the corporate duopoly. There's never any possibility of trying to speak to the needs of poor and working people. I'm fresh from Mississippi, as you all probably know, there in Rankin County with Brother Jenkins and Brother Parker. I was there, the precious mother of Jenkins, Mary, and those lawyers down there, Brother Malik and Brother Trent. They're dealing with issues that the Democratic Party won't touch, which is issues of poverty and intense police brutality. And we haven't even got to the military adventurism abroad. So I think in many ways, Brother Bernie's making a plausible argument, but I think deep down in his heart, he knows that the Democratic Party has no fundamental intention of speaking to the needs of poor people and working people. They are dominated by their corporate wing. They're dominated by the militarists when it comes to foreign policy, and that he and AOC and the others are going to be, in a certain sense, window dressing at worst, and at best, people to appeal to every 4 years. But the Democratic Party is beyond redemption at this point when it comes to seriously speaking to the needs of poor and working people.
Dr. West is right here. There's no way that the Democratic Party is going to move into the direction we want them to move because they got the donors behind them that are telling them to go the other way. We might as well accept this, wake up and smell the coffee, and realize that's the system that we're in. It's not going to be modified. And they're always going to have the ability to say, what about the guy over there? We can't do it right now because what? We got Trump. Next time it'll be we can't do it now because we got DeSantis. Then it's going to be no, we can't do it now because we got Vivek. Oh, no, now we can't do it now because we got Tim Scott. No, we can't do it now because we got Ted Cruz. No, we can't do it now because we got R2-D2. Oh, we can't do it now because we got C-3PO. Oh, we can't do it now because we got Obi-Wan Kenobi's evil twin's cousin. Oh, no, we can't do it now. We got the thing from the It movie mixed with Freddy Krueger, mixed with the Predator, mixed with the Phantom of the Opera coming through the door. We can't do it now. We have the thing from the It movie coming through the door mixed with Leatherface, mixed with the Predator, mixed with Frankenstein, mixed with Jason. They're coming through the door. Freddy Krueger's cousin. They're going to run. They're going to beat us. We can't do it now. We'll do it next year. We'll do it next election. The one after that. This is the most important election of our lifetimes. We can't go doing stuff for you right now. We can't go changing our platform to benefit working and poor people right now. We can't focus on black people ever. What are you talking about? We got the Klan over there with neo-Nazis with the universal soldiers. And this is the worst possible time. When are people going to realize it's always going to be the worst possible time? Spoiler alert, they're not going to change. The Democratic Party is who they are. Now, I know I got some people that are saying, Tim Black, you're not being reasonable. Green Party's not up to snuff yet. Do you think Cornel West is going to win? I'm telling you this, you got to have an imagination, okay? First of all, you got to have an imagination and some ability to see and say, you know what? Right now is an opportune time because we got these two horrible candidates running. That makes Cornel West look great. I mean, he's standing next to two of the worst politicians in the history of politicking. That's what he's doing. So this is great. Can you imagine Cornel West on the debate stage? But beyond all that, folks, look, the Democratic Party will never change unless the Democratic Party is forced to change. You can't force them to change it by giving them your votes and going, okay, I trust you. Okay, I trust you. Okay, I trust you. That hasn't been working up to this point. Dr. Cornel West made a good faith effort. Remember when he was a part of the DNC's, like, putting together the platform? Remember that? How they were supposed to listen to his ideas, him and Bernie Sanders? They were supposed to make a vote on Medicare for all? Remember how that went?
Dr. West.
No, I just think it's very important that we don't sanitize and sterilize what Brother Bernie Sanders talks about when he talks about health care as a right, as opposed to a privilege. See, voting rights was a privilege for a long time. You had white brothers with property and white brothers without property. Women didn't have the right to vote. So it remained sanitized. It was an abstraction for a small group, but it functioned as a privilege. Black folk didn't get it until 65. So this language is so abstract that when Bernie Sanders says it's a right, he wants to specify the ways in which voting rights is universal. The right to join your own church, mosque, synagogue, temple, universal. The right to express yourself critically, universal. Right now, given the magnificent breakthrough of the Affordable Care Act, it's not a right. It's still a privilege of 29 million fellow citizens do not have access to it. That's what women were told in 1918. Voting rights is a right, but you don't have it. Sorry about that. But it's coming. It's coming. It's going to come because we organize and fight for it. But that's what Bernie Sanders, I think, has in mind. It's very clear. I think it's very important to be clear about that. So when I hear the language of, we thank Bernie Sanders for working so hard and doing so and so, that's not what he's ultimately after. He's after a universal right in the way that voting rights are right. It's not market-based. And we're not there yet. And we just voted against it.
They shut it down. All that. We're going to work with you. We want to listen to the progressives. Yes, come on, lefties. Let's talk. They were never serious about listening. They didn't care, man. It was window dressing, as Bernie Sanders puts it. Window dressing, it was performative, it was symbolic, it was not real. It's a shame that Bernie Sanders has become this thing. Bernie Sanders says, hey, look, I can't tell Dr. Cornel West what to do. He's an independent thinker. He's going to do what he wants to do. And you know what, Bernie? You're supposed to be that way. You're supposed to be an independent thinker too. That's how you're supposed to be. That's why a lot of people gave you money, Bernie, because they thought you were the same way. And now you're not. And it's sad. Well, it was a nice run, Bernie. Had to close out someday. Can't win them all. So yes, I agree with Dr. West. The Democratic Party is beyond redemption. It's irredeemable at this point. What we need to do is voters need to accept it. Independents already accepted it. Thus, they're not Democrats. Now, if the rest of y'all can accept it, we can get on with the business of broadening this damn two-party system. If you value this content, become a member of the Tim Black Show by going to jointimblack.com for $5, only $5. You become a member of the show. And you get all types of cool stuff, behind-the-scenes stuff, and freebies right here. So remember, man, you ain't got to convince the world. Just convince the person sitting next to you. Tell them, don't go for the okie doke. Go west. As a Cornel West. And when they say, come on, you can't be serious, you tell them, it's a new day. Doesn't that make you feel good?
Extra Innings are bonus segments from Tim Black's Black Table Show with the Blacks. That's Tim Black and the amazing Mrs. Black. For early access to Extra Innings, become a paid member of the Tim Black Show at jointimblack.com. Ain't nothing like the real thing. Baby, join today. See you there, Wolfpack.